Right.
The search.
The
Right.
city search.
The helicopter was going
Oh,
around
of course.
and
So
police was going
basically, like
around.
with the whole thing, it was once Montag did kill Betty Beatty, his boss, it was basically kind of like the whole search, like it was like the hunt for Montag was on. So it was like they broadcasted. So like if you flipped on your TV, you can see this going on. So what he did was he switched his clothes and everything. The clothes he got from Fiverr once he went to go say some final goodbyes. And once all this happens, he kind of has to like regroup himself. So he's just out walking, and that's when he remembered how Fiverr told him that the safest place for you to be, the safest place for you to do is like go to the lake.
On railroads.
Yeah, it was gonna be railroads also there, but it was like basically he was saying go to the lake because of course helicopters and stuff they would search over the lake, but of course you can't really see what's going on down there
Can
to
go
tell.
in.
Right, to be under the water and stuff.
So once all that happens, he does get to the lake and he's in it. Of course, the helicopters are still after him, and he gets washed up to shore where he does meet people such as Granger, a friend he does meet, who are similar to him because they also have memorized these books, they've read these books, and they basically escape society. So it's kind of like
waiting for everybody to be comfortable with books again.
right, and it's kind of like once this happens, he kind of gets the understanding that he isn't alone, and like he isn't the only one to question authority or like question the way things are set in place. So I thought that was something interesting about the book, how like it ended, and then of course the ending really was Granger, Mentag, and a bunch of other guys who he discovered also read books. It was kind of like they were going to a new city because a war had finally begun in their old city.
Of the explosion.
Yeah.
Messing everything up.
So now it was basically they were just going to a new place to live.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I found real interesting was like the last quote on page 158. It was just basically saying, to everything there's a season. Yes, a time to break down, a time to build up. Yes, a time to keep silent, and a time to speak. Yes, of all, but what else? What else? So like, what do you guys feel about that quote?
Like he's saying that like things happen and like bad things happen, but it's okay because you have the chance to rebuild it, or you can start over and start new with life or whatever troubles you have, and with the silence and speak, like it's times for you to be quiet, or like you feel comfortable with quiet, and then it's times for you that you are alright with speaking up and about things, that how you feel about stuff, like your opinion on things.
I kind of think he's talking about everything happens for a reason, and no matter how much you get broken down, you can always get picked back up. And what he's saying about like a time to speak, I feel like he's saying to stand up for something that you believe in. So he believed in keeping books, everybody else didn't. So he was trying to stand up and like be the one to be like, no, we should read books. Ooh, but everybody else like, no, we shouldn't. Books are bad, but I feel like he was saying that was the time to stand up.
Curtis?
Basically, I agree with Amari. Just the whole that last line really stuck out. The whole time to keep silent, the time to speak. It was like throughout the novel, I want to say his timing was off since he did end up, getting caught with keeping the books. But still, like she was saying, it is a time to speak up because once you do get caught, it's basically you was doing it for a purpose. Like you really wanted to discover like why we can't have books.
Start a new movement or
Right.
something. Yeah. One thing I found very interesting is that I did not know that paper burned at 451 degrees, like Fahrenheit. Well, Fahrenheit. I just want to know, like, how did Montag and Clarice's relationship just become so strong? Because it seemed like when he found out she got hit by that car, he was just so heartbroken and shocked. Like, well, why didn't nobody tell me? Like, I don't know. It just seemed like that was something he was looking forward to every day, talking to her every day, because that was like a daily routine that was going on. So it's like, what was the real connection between them?
It's probably like she gave him that push to actually go out and read the books, and just like to actually feel comfortable with reading the books, because he not the only one to think about doing something wrong or illegal.
Right, because she was that free spirit.
Right. And he just felt more comfortable with her than anybody else that he knew. So he was, I guess, hurt, crushed when he couldn't see her or talk to her anymore.
I agree. It's just like, I felt like they had such a strong connection because, like, I felt like she had the courage to do the things he wanted to do at first. Like, you know, the whole scratching dandelions on your chin to see if you love somebody. Like, I feel like he wanted to do those things, but of course, his occupation with a fireman is kind of like a hypocrite in a way because, like, you can't basically be wanting to discover new things and then taking people's lives, taking people's homes if you basically.
For them wanting to
Right.
read and discover.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would y'all rate this book and would y'all recommend it to anybody else?
I kind of liked it. I think I would rate it probably like a 7 or 8 because it talked about books and I really like books. And I hate that people think books are bad because I don't want them to think that it's like a whole new world that you can get into with books. And with Guy Montag trying to speak out and go like push for books it's like it's encouraging and just make me want to go out and tell people about books and how good they are.
So powerful.
I rated about similar to you, like an 8, because I liked it because the main character just like it inspired me like to speak up for what you believe in and like don't be afraid to question authority. Because as I said earlier, like you always have to make sure like what people tell you is true. And like I just found like it real interesting the different jobs like firemen and stuff. Because like in today's society, like a fireman is supposed to put out fires, but in this book, firemen was
Opposite.
right. They were setting people's houses on fire, which I found kind of interesting.
I would rate this a 6. And no, I would not recommend this book to anybody. Well, I would. Maybe I would. It's alright. It ain't all that. I liked it, the flow though, or whatever. It was kind of boring at first. Like, I couldn't get into it. But as I kept reading, I was like, oh, really? Then I kept asking Melanie questions to get a better understanding, make sure I was reading it right and everything. The book not that bad, but I give it a 6 though. It ain't all that. Ain't my number 1 choice and nothing like that.
All right.
Well,
That's it.
thanks.
Thanks.
For your time.
Bye.